We are now going to use a Morph Cut effect. Morph Cut is a special transition effect that aims to be invisible. Ooh. It's designed to help with talking head video interviews where a single speaker looks in the direction of the camera. If your subject pauses a lot or there is an inappropriate content in the footage, you may want to remove a section of the interview. This would normally produce a jump cut when the image seems to jump suddenly from one piece of content to another. But with the right media and a little experimentation, the Morph Cut effect might yield an invisible transition that seamlessly hides what you have removed. Let's try it, shall we? Open the sequence Morph Cut. So Morph Cut, double click that. Let's go to the beginning of the sequence and we're going to play it. This sequence has one clip with a jump cut near the start. It's a small jump cut but enough to jar the audience. So let's play it and see what it looks like.
What I've discovered is that there is a glass door without
You see it jump? So right in here, it jumped right here. It scared me. In the effects panel, look in the video transitions dissolve group for the Morph Cut effect. It's right here. Drag this effect to join between the two clips. So let me get down here and go to exactly between those two clips. I'm going to drag the Morph Cut. Let me zoom in on this so we can see that a little more. Just press the equal sign a bunch of times till you see the Morph Cut, and I see that I did, yeah, mine's right in the middle of it. The Morph Cut transition effect begins by analyzing the two clips in the background. You can continue to work on your sequence while this analysis takes place. Depending on your media, you may achieve improved results with the Morph Cut transition effect by experimenting with different durations. Double-click this Morph Cut transition effect, and that will display the set transition duration dialog box. Change the duration to 16 and click OK. When you do that, you're going to see analyzing in the background. Depending on your computer, if you got one of my old Windows computer, it may take longer than one of the new Macs. When the analysis is complete, press the return enter key and that will render.
What I've discovered is that there is a glass door without a handle.
The result is not perfect, but it's close, and it's unlikely an audience will notice the join. So that is how you do a Morph Cut. So if you just do this, watch the jump.
There is a glass door without.
You didn't see the jump that you saw before. All right. So we're now going to deal with inadequate or non-existent head or tail handles. If you try to extend a transition for a clip that doesn't have enough frames in the handle for the new duration of the effect, the transition still appears but has diagonal warning bars through it. This means Premiere Pro is using a freeze frame, to extend the duration of the clip. The last available frame is held on screen to complete the transition effect. You can adjust the duration and position of the transition to resolve the issue. So we're going to open the sequence called Handles. There you go. Locate the edit between the two clips. These two sequence clips have no heads or tails. You can tell this immediately because of the little triangles. See these little triangles right here? We talked about that at the very beginning. Select the Ripple Edit tool. So the Ripple Edit tool is this one right here. So click on that tool and use it to drag the right edge of the first clip to the left. Begin dragging just to the left of the cut between the two clips. So we're going to click right here, drag it to the left. Drag to shorten the duration of the first clip to about 110. And you saw that if you were looking, this is where it was, is right up here. So that's to about 110. A tool tip appears while you trim to show the new clip duration. The clip to the right of the edit point ripples left to close the gap. You see that gap closed right there. Notice that the little triangles are no longer present. Of the one that you just did, there is no triangle on this one. Drag the cross dissolve transition effect from the effects panels onto the edit point between the two clips. So go to the edit point and what did I say? Cross dissolve. Oh, let me make this bigger so you can see what it's doing. I know what it's going to do. You'll discover that you can drag to the right side of the edit but not the left. So when I click here, you see that it's to the right, but it won't go to the left. That's because there's no handle available at the beginning of the second clip to create a dissolve that overlaps the end of the first clip without using freeze frames. So press the V key. The V key selects the selection tool. That's the shortcut. We learned that before. You might have forgot. Click the dissolve transition once to select it. You may need to zoom in to make it easier, which if you press the equals key, it will do that. In the effects controls panel, set the duration of the effect to 112. So I'm going to type 1:12. Press the tab key. The clip panel is not long enough to create this effect. The diagonal lines on the transition, both in the effects control panel and in the timeline panel, indicate Premiere Pro automatically added a freeze frame to fill the duration you set. You see the lines and stuff up here? That's what it's talking about. So we're going to play the transition to see the effect. You see that? In the effects controls panel, change the alignment of the transition to center at cut. Center at cut. Drag the timeline panel playhead slowly through the transition and watch the result. So let's go back. I'm going to make this smaller. So watch, I'm going to drag this slowly through. Watch the effect. You see that dissolving? Isn't that amazing? And then there's the ball going in. All right. For the first half of the transition, the B clip is a freeze frame while the A clip continues to play. At the edit point, the A clip and the B clip start to play, and after the edit, a short freeze frame is used. There are several ways to fix this kind of issue. You can change the duration or timing of the transition effect. You can drag the edit in the timeline panel using the Roll Edit tool to change the timing of the transition. Be sure to drag the edit between the clips and not the transition effect. This won't necessarily remove all the freeze frames, but it may improve the overall result. So to get access to the rolling edit tool, you need to click and hold the ripple edit. If you click and hold that, you can see there's your rolling edit tool, so click that. And then we want to make sure that we're not up here in the cross dissolve, but rather in this. And you can see how you can just make adjustments to that. That's what it's talking about doing. You can drag one side of the edit in the timeline panel using the ripple edit tool to shorten the clip, increasing the length of the handle. Again, be sure to click the edit between the two clips and not the icon. So we want to make sure we don't click this, that we click down here below it. So if we went back to the ripple edit tool, we can do whatever. All right? You're going to learn more about the rolling edit and the ripple edit tools in the next lesson. For now, make sure you have the selection tool selected. So, and the last thing we're going to do is we're going to add audio transition effects. They can dramatically improve a sequence's soundtrack by removing unwanted audio pops or abrupt edits. Audiences are usually much more aware of inconsistency in the soundtrack than they are of the overall quality of the soundtrack, and crossfade transitions can have a big impact in smoothing variation between the clips. There are several ways to apply an audio crossfade to a sequence. You can, of course, drag an audio transition effect just as you would a video transition effect, but there are also useful shortcuts to speed up the process. Audio transitions have a default duration measured in seconds or frames. You can change the default duration by going to Premiere Pro, Preferences, Timeline. We did this before, so that's where you would do it. So we are now going to look at 3 methods for applying audio transitions. Open the sequence called audio. So find audio, open that up. Switch to the selection tool. Make sure you have the selection tool selected. This sequence has several clips with audio. So let's go to the beginning here and let's play it. You can hear there's a lot of different things going on. A lot of different things. So, open the audio transitions. Audio transitions, crossfade. Drag the exponential fade transition to the start of the first audio clip. So let's go back and make sure you're at the first exponential fade to the beginning of the first. Right there. Right-click the right edge of the last clip of the sequence and choose Apply. So right-click the end, and we want to I don't think I did something right here. Oh, I didn't. Apply default transitions. A default transition and a default audio transition are added to the end of the clip. Command Z. Apply default transitions. I don't see one on there. I wonder. Oh, it's there. You just have to zoom a lot. If you want to make sure that it was, mine was there, I just couldn't see it until I zoomed in on it. You can change the length of any transition by dragging its edge in the timeline. Drag to extend the audio transition you just created and then listen to the result. So it's talking about right here, you can drag that up. See how it made it longer? Alright. To polish the project, next you'll add an opening cross-dissolve transition effect to the video clip at the beginning of the sequence. Press Escape to deselect the transition effect you just adjusted. Go to the beginning. Move the playhead near the beginning of the sequence and press Command D or Control D. And you see that it added it right there. Right there. You now have a fade from black at the beginning, a fade to black at the end. Now let's add a series of short audio dissolves to smooth out the sound mix. Ordinarily, making a marquee selection in the timeline panel would select clips, but you can override this by holding a modifier key. With the selection tool, so you make sure you have the selection tool selected, hold Command, Option, or Control Alt, and marquee all the audio effects between the clips. So what did I say? Command option. I should have made this smaller before I started doing this. My alarm went off. Make sure that when you do that, you did not select any video clips. You should have only done the audio clips, so you can see that if you got a red line up here, you know you selected video as well. So make sure you just did the audio. Pressing the Option or the Alt key lets you temporarily unlink the audio clips to isolate the transitions while making a selection. So press the Option or the Alt key. Press Shift and D, and that applies the default transition effect to all selected clips. You exclusively selected audio clips, so Premiere Pro knows how to add only audio transition effects. So you see there are no effects up here at the top. Let me make this smaller. So you see that it only did it to the audio. You could have pressed Shift Command D, which is a shortcut to add audio only transition. This is useful if you have selected both video and audio clips and wanted to apply only audio transition effects. Command D applies the default video only transition. So play the sequence and hear the changes you've made. All right. So here's what I want you to do for me. I want you to raise your hand, invite me over to your computer, and first of all, I want you to show me your audio and what you've done to it. You're going to click on the handles, show me what you've done to it. You're going to click on the Morph Cut. You're going to show me that you've put a Morph Cut in. You're going to click on your slideshow, and I want to see your things that are on here. And then after you've shown that to me, you're going to click on the transitions one, and you are going to export your transitions. I want to see it, but then what you're going to turn in to me after you've shown me all these things is an MP4. Don't turn in a Premiere Pro project. So show me those things, export as MP4, turn that in, and this completes lesson 7.